All right. Hi, everyone. It's Olivia Bolin here for another episode of our FMIG Leaders Series. Today, we will be talking about affording a career in family medicine and how FMIG leaders can help dispel financial myths in family medicine. Here to help us discuss the topic is University of Wisconsin School of Medicine and Public Health's Dr. Jacqueline Gerhardt, Joyce Giardeau, Megan Bartz, and Cam Blagan. The Family Medicine Interest Group at University of Wisconsin is one of our 2016 Program of Excellence Award winners, and they hosted several events throughout the year highlighting this topic. All right, guys, would you like to start us off talking about all the great things that you've done with your FMIG and go from there?
So I'm Jackie Gerhardt. I'm one of the family docs here at Wisconsin, and I've been working with the Family Medicine Interest Group for a little over 3 years now. And we've been really interested in trying to improve the understanding of how you can have debt management in all specialties, but specifically in primary care as well. And so we do offer some really great events where we allow our students to get interaction with different physicians and be able to one-on-one ask that, as well as more scheduled events such as noontime talks and seminars that allow us to give more specific detail about different programs. So today our students are going to highlight a few of the different programs that they know about and that they've used, and we'll also go over some of the average income and debt things that happen for medical students. Want to start, Kim?
Sure. I think just overall, a lot of our events, like you probably heard a lot, financial talk and debt and the rising cost of tuition. I think throughout all of our events, it's definitely plays a role, even if it's not the focus. I think I specifically remember we host an event every January at a place called the Essen House, where we get family docs from the community to come in and talk about why they chose to go into family medicine. And a lot of students, first years, second years, and third years come to that and hear the reasons that people went into medicine. And a lot of times you can't talk about that without avoiding the financial side of it. So I think it's really helpful as a student who attended that event to hear from practicing doctors how they went about their debt, how they took advantage of some programs that are out there and sometimes aren't the most heavily advertised either.
Yeah, and another event that I remember we really talked about it too was the What is Family Medicine? Because when students first originally come in, they don't necessarily know what family medicine can encompass. And one of the things I would talk about specifically is how much family doctors do make, because there are a lot of myths out there, and just different things financially compared to other specialties, things like that.
And I think a big focus of both of those events is really connecting students with physicians and residents who have the experience of how they are working through their debt or already have paid it off and made their establishment as far as their practices go, and building those relationships too.
Okay. So to briefly do a couple of numbers, when we do our What is Family Medicine talk, we specifically talk both about what average medical school debt is and how different people within family medicine and other specialties are able to pay that back. So the most recent numbers that we have are that the average recruitment salary for a family physician is about $225,000 starting just out of school, so just out of residency without a fellowship. The median debt that the AAMC published in 2015 was about $183,000 of debt. And so we use those numbers to say, yes, family medicine physicians do make money that is able to pay that back, but we also give opportunities in addition to just your normal salary to discuss how that can happen. So from my perspective, when I was being recruited for different jobs, it depended on where I was looking. If I was looking academically, there was often a stipend that was involved for loan repayment that often can be anywhere between $20,000 up to $50,000, and that can sometimes go through multiple years. So I am a faculty here at University of Wisconsin, and when I was recruited here, they did give us a $25,000 retention bonus once a year for our first 5 years, which we can use for loan repayment, for example. And then these guys are going to tell you a little bit about some other medical school programs that are there.
Yeah, so I guess the one that both Megan and I know the most about is the loan program that we have used during our time here at the University of Wisconsin. It's called the Primary Care Loan Program, and it's a federal loan program that, at least at our institution, isn't heavily advertised. So it's definitely something that I know we both have tried to pass on to those medical students younger than us, because it's not one of the more mainstream options. But what it is if you're interested in primary care, which isn't limited to family medicine, but I guess we're able to talk about it from that perspective. But depending on your family's income, that is one of the stipulations, is you submit financial data, kind of like a FAFSA, both for you and then also for your parents in order to qualify. You're given loan money to pay for your educational costs. I know I'm a fourth-year student, so I've had that for all 4 years, including this year, going around and interviewing. And those loans are given to you, and there's no interest that you pay while you're in school or while you're in residency. And there's also a few probably lesser used deferment options like Peace Corps, but it was just really, I guess, a huge load off of me during my schooling to think that every dollar I spent wasn't compounding interest that next day or even the same day, knowing that I had time where I had no interest until after residency. And then after residency, the interest rate is only at 5%, which I know what most students have is just your general direct loans. I think the interest rate now is like 6.2 or somewhere around there. So definitely a savings just strictly from the interest point. But the huge thing is that you don't have that interest accruing for the 4 years of medical school and then 3 years of residency that you're going to be going through.
Yeah. And I use the same program. So I think for us, we just kind of want to share that more with other people so that they can learn a little bit more about it.
Mm-hmm. And it is one of those, like a lot of financial aid programs, a first come, first served. There's a limited amount of funds. And definitely the thing you want to do too is it is available here at the University of Wisconsin and a lot of other schools, but you want to check with your financial aid office to make sure that they participate in the primary care loan program, because not all schools do. And it is still dispersed through your institution's financial aid office. You'd be able to contact your representative and they should be able to help you out with the process and more specific questions that you might have about it.
And to go along those lines with different governmental programs, if you go to www.hrsa, which is hrsa.gov, they do list other options for both loan repayment and for scholarships. One that we didn't mention was the health, it's called the Health Service Corps, or the National Health Service Corps, and that is an opportunity where you can actually go through school and then be committed to working in an underserved area afterwards, and that will also pay for a loan repayment as well, in addition to your salary. And then as well, when you're a faculty, if you choose to work at an academic institution, the same place, HRSA, has a faculty loan repayment option, so that if you already have been doing a couple of years as a faculty member, I believe the commitment is 2 years to stay in a faculty position, but it doesn't have to be an underserved area, and that will also help to defer loan payment as well.
And I think that brings up a good point too, is one of the reasons I decided to do the primary care loan program was because there is no service obligation. So as a single person coming into medical school, I didn't know where I was going to be 4 years, 7 years down the road. I didn't want to have a service obligation where I had to go to a specific place for a number of years, where this, there is no you don't have to practice in any particular location. You can go wherever you want. So I think that was another big factor and made it a lot easier to take on this load program, knowing that I wasn't closing any doors to myself, 4 years or 7 years down the road either.
Another thing that's really beneficial about that program is that it does encompass more than just family medicine. So it's any primary care specialty. So if someone thinks that they want to go into family medicine, but then chooses to maybe do, I don't know, what are the other options?
Yeah, we got the options here.
Like public health, pediatrics, sports medicine, that's also on there too. So if they just want to go into anything else specific, those are also other options.
Yeah. And for this, it's almost easier to say which specialties you can't do, which is cardiology, gastroenterology, OB-GYN, surgery, derm, radiology, PMR, psychiatry, and emergency medicine. And I think we have a long list on the other side that includes specialties other than family medicine. So you're definitely not locking yourself into a corner by taking on these loans either, which is nice to have some flexibility.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's all some really great information. Did you specifically, Megan and Cam, did you find that your classmates found events that focused on these topics helpful? Did you get any feedback from them? What did they like, and what did they take from it?
Yeah, I think people found those helpful. I do think we need to do a better job promoting them as a school, because I know we were talking a little bit before this that it was kind of hard to find out about them until you talk to more people. So while we do talk about it amongst ourselves, I think it would be a good idea to have maybe an event specifically for these types of programs. And I know we have in the past. I know you said before both of us were here, you had one. So.
Yeah, and the difference is that within our FMIG, we're able to do events that are targeted towards people that are already interested in family medicine. But as we mentioned before, everyone that graduates from medical school invariably will have some form of debt that they need to find resources for. And so promoting some of the things that we're talking about here from a family medicine perspective at a broader level is what we're really hoping to focus on. Additionally, there are other things on a broader level that the financial aid offices do discuss, so things like deference and forbearance and such that are also options. So we tend to try to get faculty members that have been through it or current students or residents that are currently in it to sort of mentor and discuss with other med students right now what their options are. So both on a higher level of university, on a FMIG level, and then also sort of one-to-one mentoring is really our focus.
And I think both of us have really enjoyed that one-on-one mentoring. I know a couple of specific examples of people that were members of our FMIG and even on our FMIG leadership that I had conversations with during first year, during second year, and even though they weren't a part of this loan program for 1 year or 2 years, they were able to come on to it in later years. So if in the beginning you were unsure about it, you could eventually take advantage of it. And I think that's where we do see a lot of success is at these different events. There's a lot of time for questions and also for mingling as well. So you can have those one-on-one conversations and connect with whether it's a faculty member that you're concerned about your salary after residency, or if it's a older medical student that you have some questions for, whether it's the interview process or residency or anything like that. I think we've had success with providing the environment for having those individualized conversations.
Yeah, I thank you guys so much. I think that all of this information was super helpful, and we're so glad that you were able to join us today to talk about this. I think FMIG leaders and all medical students can find something beneficial out of this conversation that we've had today. So we wish you all the best in your upcoming FMIG events and in your future in medicine. For everyone else, please make sure to check out the AFQ website for more ideas on programming events for your FMIG, as well as information regarding how to afford your career in family medicine. All right, thanks guys.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.